What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? AJ Good here at the House of Masks, and today's video is a highly anticipated one, either because you actually want to see the video or because you just want all of this Michael Myers craze to be over. But today we are doing the full Michael Myers mask collection here at the House of Masks for now, and the reason I say that is because I'm probably just going to end up getting a K and B. It just won't be in this video because it's not that special, it's not that important. We have the mask that we need from H2O, so I'll just end up making a separate video about that at a later time, and then when I finally have a room to display everything in, I will do a full Michael Myers mask collection, fully displayed the way that it's supposed to be, because right now I'm just going to be going through, showing you each mask individually, and talking very quickly about that piece. But before we get into that, I want to ask you guys today's question, and today's question is a simple one. I just want to know, for the people that have seen Halloween 2018, which do you prefer, the 1981 sequel, Halloween 2, or Halloween 2018 from obviously 2018? Which out of those do you think makes a better sequel? Which storyline do you like better? Which plot, etc.? For me, I feel that Halloween 2018 was the better sequel for a lot of reasons, but the main reason being that it got rid of any humanity in Michael Myers. It just made him a faceless killer again. Never been crazy about the fact that he was Laurie Strode's brother, because it's just kind of odd and weird, I don't know. But I do love Dick Warlock's portrayal of Michael Myers, still my all-time favorite. With that being said, I think James Jude Courtney absolutely nailed the likeness of Michael Myers. I think that he brought a completely new version. It was the perfect mix between Castle and Dick Warlock, and is definitely my new favorite. I think Dick Warlock will always be the OG favorite, but I do absolutely love the way that James Jude Courtney portrayed Michael Myers in this movie. So let me know your thoughts down below. Which sequel is better? Which one do you prefer? And let's get on with this full Michael Myers mask video update. First things first, we have my H1. This is the OG. This is the 1978 version of Michael Myers mask, and this is my AHG Experience. And the reason that I chose this, I actually held out for a long time on buying an H1 because I wanted to find one that met the look that I was going for. This one definitely reminds me of the chase scene towards the end where he busts through that kitchen door, and I really like the way that the mask looks right there, and I think this one nails that look. A lot of other H1s just look kind of goofy at any given angle aside from the angle that they're trying to replicate, and I think this one looks good all around. I really like the hair work on it. I love the side profile. Weathering is nice, very subtle, and I like the skin tone on the neck. So when I saw this, it was a very, very good price. I felt super confident in paying for it, and when I opened the box, I was not disappointed. So AHG Nightmare is the H1 in my collection. Next up is my Malone Myers. This is actually a stunt mask, or a backup mask, that was used on the set of Halloween 1, and it was created by an artist named Bill Malone. As you can see, it looks much more reminiscent of the Halloween 4 mask. Still has the sideburns and the eyebrows intact, and it kind of looks like the eyes are blacked out, but that's not the case. There's actually just some black stuff on the mannequin head under there. But this was the first replica I ever saw of this mask pop up. I definitely think it has a cool, weird, creepy look. Not as intimidating as the original, obviously, but I do like the way that it looks. This one does have a super authentic look to it. I'm definitely in love with the way that it looks. I really like how authentic it looks. I can't stress that enough. This was done by Handy Boy Studios, and it wasn't selling for whatever reason. I ended up getting a really good deal on it through my buddy Jimmy Falco, and I've almost sold it a few times, and I'm really glad that I didn't, because it's a strange mask. Definitely a cool addition to the collection with the story that's behind it and everything. Here's a reference photo just so you guys know what I'm talking about. This actually was a mask that was on the set of Halloween 1, and yeah, I'm stoked to have it. Love the look of that thing. Alright, right here we have my H2 for the time being. This is a 99 Shatner that was converted by Rob Slasher. You guys can check him out on Instagram. He is like an up-and-coming Myers artist. I do like the way that it looks in certain lighting. When it's sitting up next to my TV on this bust on display, it looks fantastic. Other times it looks a little bit too harsh, but that's fine because I do like a dirty Myers, especially for H2. So I think I may keep this one the way it is and try to find another that is finished slightly different, maybe a little less harsh. But 99 Shatner is absolutely my favorite H2 sculpt, always has been, and they fit my head really well because I have a very, very small head and these ones are very tiny. So I'm stoked on that. I love the way that I've got it on the display here. You can't quite see the eyes, and when there is light that isn't coming straight on, and it's above, it actually looks super dark, and that kind of gives you an idea there. Yeah, definitely love this. I need to style the hair. Whenever I got it, I never did anything with the hair, so it's just kind of slicked back right now, but I love the little horns that come out off the side, so I will need to get around to that eventually. But for right now, he just hangs out next to the TV, and definitely one of my favorite displays. Moving right along to H4, I'm not going to be including any H3 masks because this is a Myers update rather than a Halloween mask update, so we are going to skip Halloween 3 completely, which I'm sure most of you guys will probably be stoked about because you all fucking hate it anyways. But Halloween 4, one of my all-time favorite Myers. Not because it looks cool, because let's face it, it really doesn't, but because that was the first Halloween that I ever saw. I actually watched it in this house with my grandpa when I was like 4 years old. Scared the shit out of me. Watching it now is kind of laughable because Michael Myers has shoulder pads and no neck, and it's weird, and the mask is fucking terrible, but there's certain things about that movie that really stand out to me that I love. The atmosphere is unreal from the opening scenes all the way through the movie. It definitely feels like Halloween in a small town, and it reminds me a lot of Chillicothe. I love the drugstore scene. That seems like a place that you could walk in just about anywhere, especially on the east side of Chillicothe. I know a million places that look like that. I love him getting the mask, and I love some of the kills. So for me, Halloween 4 does hold a special place in my heart. This mask is an SP-H4, which was actually recasted off of the hero that Paul Ponce owns, so you're not going to get any closer than this. The finish on this is absolutely fantastic. Very hard to light because it is so bright white, so a lot of times a lot of the detail gets washed out, but it is definitely a great H4 mask, one of my favorites that I've ever seen. Got super lucky to talk a guy down on eBay that had this listed, and we actually made a private deal outside of eBay, and I ended up getting it, so I'm stoked on that. Love it. It fits me very, very well, and it's right off of the real mask, so you can't really beat that. Here we have arguably one of the worst masks in the series. This is the Halloween 5 mask. This is actually a ground-up sculpt by an artist named Martin Pena, and that means that he started completely from scratch. He just did this off a reference. There was no life cast or anything like that. To me, that's pretty impressive because this is hands down the best replica of a Halloween 5 mask that you're gonna get. So if you guys are interested in that, hit up Martin Pena on Facebook. These are called Revenge of the 5th, so it's kind of a funny little play on words there. Like I mentioned when I unboxed this, I absolutely cannot stand this movie. I do not like the mask that was used in Halloween 5. With that being said, Martin absolutely nailed this ugly fucking mask, and I couldn't be more stoked on this replica that I own of it, so I would recommend hitting him up. These things are fucking awesome for what they are. If you're in the market for a Halloween 5, Revenge of the 5th is going to be the one that you want. Here we have my Halloween 6, another one of my least favorite masks in the series, along with probably my least favorite movie in the series. I despise almost everything about this movie. It is not atmospheric at all. It takes place in a weird lab for the most part. That's all I can think of when I see this movie. Fucking mask is terrible. It literally looks like it was sculpted out of Play-Doh. Don't like the portrayal of Michael Myers in it at all. The Cult of Thorn, the list goes on and on. I really cannot stand this movie. With that being said, I went ahead and went the cheap route and got a Trick or Treat Studios H6. I find the sculpt to be incredibly accurate. The neck could be larger, and they do actually make copies that have a larger neck. This just happens to be the one that I got. I don't think the paint is too far off from the one that was used in the movie, to be honest, so I probably won't bother getting this repainted. I think it looks really nice on a shelf as is, and that's probably the way that it will stay. For Halloween H2O, we have a rehauled H2O mask offered by Trick or Treat Studios. Once again, I find the sculpt to be probably the most accurate out there. I do know that Father Phantom Studios, who's an independent artist, offers one of these with the extended neck and everything. I'm not fussed about that because displaying that would look kind of wonky anyways. I'm not a fan of large necks on masks and stuff. I just like to have a nice clean display. This one was rehauled by someone on eBay. Not sure of who they are. I think it was like Creepy Mask, some really generic name or something like that. But I'm definitely stoked with the way they came out. It's not one of my favorite masks, but if you look at it structurally and from a sculptor's perspective, this is probably the closest to the original that you're going to find. And I mean that in a sense of this being sculpted after the hero that was in H1. A lot of sculptural points look identical to the hero mask from 1978, and I think that's what they were going for, along with making it look slightly different, which is why it is a far less intimidating mask. For whatever reason, they just could not seem to nail the fact that the Myers mask looked intimidating for whatever reason, so we kept getting silly shit like this. But like I said, sculpturally, I think as a replica mask that was used later in the series, this is the closest to the original 1978 out of the entire series. For my Resurrection mask, arguably one of the worst movies in the series, but I do believe that this is one of the coolest masks in the series. Definitely the most detailed as far as the paint job goes. They put a lot of little subtle shadowing and stuff on this mask, and I think it really shows. It's not just a pure white mask. This one actually has some depth given to it by the paint job. This is a Cinema Secrets Resurrection mask, which actually comes from the real mold that was used in the movie. Cinema Secrets actually did the FX and stuff for that movie, so they owned the real mold and they released it to the public. The paint jobs on these vary. I had another copy that looked way different from this, and I actually have another copy at my dad's house that looks way different than this. This paint job's kind of yellowed, and it didn't seem to have the depth that the one in the movie had, so I probably will have it rehauled at some point. I definitely want to get it repainted. The hair on it is actually fantastic. It just needs styled. so we'll be keeping that original, and once it's repainted, it'll look like a completely different mask. I'm not crazy about the movie, but I definitely think that the mask looked intimidating, so I think once we get this repainted and everything, I'll be doing a video on that, showing it off. Moving along to the reboots, we have the Rob Zombie masks, and somehow I have enough of these to make up like half of the collection. We have the Clean Destroyer here by Russell Lewis, who has done all of the Rob Zombie versions in my collection. So all the masks that you're going to see from this point on until we get to the life-size displays were actually made by Russell Lewis. Like I said, this is a Clean Destroyer by Russell. Favorite sculpt and paint job out of all the copies offered. I do know that Delator Company makes awesome replicas of the Rob Zombie masks, but their wait time is insane. The prices are a bit more than I would like to pay, especially when I can get them quicker and cheaper from Russell, and they look just as good in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just the mask guy. Here we have the Scarred H1. These things definitely look better in low lighting. The harsh lighting right here kind of shows off a bit too much. When you get this thing in the right lighting, it looks fucking evil. Say what you will about Rob Zombie's movies, I said it before, at least Michael Myers looks cool again. And like I mentioned earlier, this replica was done by Russell Lewis, who I believe offers probably the best ones, especially for the price that you're paying. Here we have another Russell Lewis piece. I don't believe that this sculpt is a destroyer. I'm pretty sure this is a revolver, and I'm not sure if Russell was the one that sculpted that, but I don't think so. But he did the finish on the mask, so all the hair work, the blood work there on the side, and then the regular paint work was done by Russell. Definitely a fan of this mask because this is probably the coolest scene in Halloween 2, the remake. I love that hospital scene, even some of the far-fetched stuff where you can pretty much tell it's a dream. I just love how brutal Myers is, and I love the way he looks. I love the rain, and it's probably my favorite scene from the movie, so naturally I dig the mask. Here we have the actual H2 mask, and this was also done by Russell Lewis. This is another destroyer, and I believe this is before he resculpted the H2, so I don't think this is from his H2 pull that he just did. I think this is the prior version, or the first one, or whatever. I don't know how many times he redid that, but I got this before Halloween just a couple days ago. If you want to see the full unboxing, all you got to do is go down a couple videos on my channel and you'll see it. I have a lot of noobs asking me why the mask is this collar, and I will try to explain this as quickly as possible. This is how the mask looked in the movie. What do I mean by that? Well, Michael Myers had been walking around with this already 15-plus-year-old mask in his pocket for 1 to 2 years, depending on which version you watch. Latex is a natural material, so it breaks down over time. It discolors, it gets crunchy, it gets squishy, and it just kind of gets gross. So naturally, a mask that is kept in a homeless man's pocket that wanders around for a year or two is going to be pretty gross. Sweat, heat, sunlight, all that stuff can make a mask start rotting. And since the mask was already rotting, it was only going to get worse from there. So that is why the mask looks like this. That movie is shot incredibly dark with a lot of different lighting. So we based this directly off of photos that were behind the scenes, in magazines, etc. with good lighting. Another reason it looks so intense is because I shoot with a very, very bright light right in front of me. See how that color changes depending on how close it is to the light? Or if we put it under a different light or near a different light. That is why the mask looks so harsh, because we based it directly off of accurate things. It's not going to be in my collection if it's not accurate. I hope that answers your guys' question, because I'm sick of answering why the mask is painted this color. Last but not least, for the remakes, we have basically the same exact mask with a slight tear and a lot of the face missing, because when Michael Myers killed a stripper, she happened to get a hold of his mask and rip a piece off. That's the only story. That's why it's a half mask, and it's also painted the exact same for the reasons that I just listed. Okay. Moving on to the life-size displays on the other end of the front room, we have my H2 display. This one was never set out to be like a super accurate display, which is why we have a Warlock on it and not something closer to Halloween 2, like a 99 Shatner or some sort of Kirk. I just really like Warlocks. I always have. They definitely make me think of Halloween 2, so when I wanted to do a life-size display, I knew that I had to get a Warlock on there. The paint on it isn't phenomenal, but I will say that it looks better in high light than low light. I just think it looks a little more intimidating when you can see all the scuffs and the dirt on the mask and stuff. Definitely a fan of the hair on the mask. I love how it comes off the back like that and kind of points out behind the ears. Definitely makes me think of H2. Like I said, it's not supposed to be super accurate. We don't have any gunshots on this. I never went through the trouble of fucking with this suit because I'm probably going to replace the suit soon. We do have little subtle pieces here like blood on the hand, and he's just a little dirty and stuff like that, but he's fully dressed, he's got his boots on and stuff, and he just kind of guards the scooters, and Slappy's taking a nap. But yeah, that is my H2 display. Not the best, but I like it for what it is, so. And last but not least, we have the Halloween 2018 with my stock Trick or Treat Studios Michael Myers 2018 mask, and I'm not going to be doing anything with this mask. I like the paint job that it came with. I feel like I got very lucky when it comes to Trick or Treat Studios stuff. I just ordered that secondhand off of eBay, and and it just has a better paint job than most of them that are out there. So I'm going to be leaving it alone, and I actually have another one that is rehauled from a friend coming, so make sure to check that video out when it comes because his work looks fucking fantastic. He is a full-size display. He has the accurate coveralls, which I have not done any weathering to. Haven't removed his labels, haven't weathered them up or anything like that. Haven't done any work to the hands, so the hands are definitely still stock and unpainted and don't look nearly as gross as they need to. We also have the accurate boots down there, and we have the accurate undershirts. So everything on this is perfect except for the fact that it's just not finished, and I will get around to that eventually, I promise. With that being said, I haven't decided if I'm going to be keeping this on or swapping it out with the other one. I kind of think that I want the other one to go in the mask display with the rest of the masks, but I guess time will tell and we'll figure that out as we go. So that is my full Myers mask collection. I hope that you guys enjoyed taking a look at that and hearing me speak a little bit about each piece individually. There are unboxing videos for every single one of these masks, so if you'd like to go see them, just type in Myers in my little search bar on my page. They'll all come up and you guys can hear me talk more in depth about each mask and each film that they come from. Right now I'm going to end the video with a nice outside shot of everything together, except for the Malone Kirk because I totally forgot to take that out there. And when I get that K&B mask, I will do a full unboxing and review video on that as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you later.